If your parents pass away at home, do you know what you must do first to avoid a lifetime of regret? When we turn 60 years old, we not only face changes within our own bodies, but we also must prepare for the inevitable losses, especially the passing of our parents. It is not just about grief, but also about a sacred responsibility, how to send them off with complete love and respect. In that moment of panic without preparation, it is very easy to fall into confusion and make mistakes that could leave us filled with regret for the rest of our lives. Today's video will walk you through the specific steps you need to take immediately when a parent passes away at home, from confirming their passing, contacting medical services and funeral homes, to legal procedures, and taking care of your own mental health afterward. These are essential steps that everyone should understand so that we can love completely and never have to say, "if only." Before we begin, please leave a positive affirmation in the comments below, like, "I welcome every challenge with gratitude and love," or share any heartfelt wish from deep inside you. And do not forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, so you do not miss meaningful content like this. Let's work together to build a strong, loving, and understanding community. So specifically, what should we do in those heartbreaking moments? Let's find out together. Preparing ahead for that moment will not erase the pain, but it will definitely help us face the greatest upheaval of our lives, with a stronger, steadier heart and much less regret. Because nothing is more heartbreaking than being struck by loss while feeling completely lost. Who should you call? What paperwork is needed? What are the legal steps in the chaos? Any wrong decision could leave lasting regret. Getting prepared is never disrespectful or bad luck. In fact, it is one of the deepest expressions of love. When you are ready, you can devote your full heart and attention to saying goodbye properly, through a farewell filled with love, respect, and proper rituals. Instead of scrambling through a maze of procedures, you can hold your parents' hand tightly, whisper your final loving words, and say goodbye with peace in your heart. Moreover, from a medical and psychological perspective, people who plan ahead and prepare emotionally tend to experience a much healthier grieving process. They are less likely to fall into depression or be haunted by self-tormenting questions like, "If only I had done better," "If only I had stayed calmer," or "If only I had been better prepared." Being prepared helps you gently close a beautiful journey of love, rather than leaving your soul burdened by unresolved sorrow for years to come. More importantly, preparation also helps support your family. When loss strikes, every member of the household suffers immense emotional pain. If you can step up, guide comfort, and organize the necessary steps, the atmosphere at home will be much lighter and warmer even in the midst of grief. The funeral will not merely be a farewell, but will become a heartfelt gathering where the whole family honors and remembers a life fully lived. So when that moment comes, what is the very first thing we must do? Stay with me, and I will answer all your questions in the next sections. First, check for signs of death. First, check for breathing. Gently place your hand on your loved one's chest to feel for any movement from breathing. You can also place your cheek close to their nose and mouth to feel if any air is coming out. If there is no movement or breath for a short period of time, this is the first sign that life has stopped. Next, check for a pulse. Use 2 fingers to gently feel for a pulse at major arteries, such as the neck carotid artery or the wrist radial artery. If you cannot feel any pulse after about 10 to 20 seconds, death has likely occurred. You should check firmly, but gently, avoiding heavy pressure that could cause unnecessary injury. Another important sign is the eye response. Observe whether the eyes are fully open, partially open, or closed. Then shine a light from a flashlight or natural light gently into the pupils. In a living person, the pupils will constrict in response to light. If the pupils stay large and fixed with no reaction to light, it is a clear indication that life has ended. Finally, check for changes in body temperature and skin color. After death, the body will start to cool down as blood circulation ceases. The skin becomes colder than usual and gradually pales, and you may notice purplish discoloration in the lowest parts of the body due to blood settling known as lever mortis. These signs need careful observation to help confirm death. Second, immediately call emergency medical services, 911, or a doctor to confirm death. Once you have checked the vital signs and suspect that death has occurred, the very first step is to call 911. When you call, the dispatcher will quickly send medical personnel to the location to professionally confirm death. They will recheck clinical signs, complete the necessary documentation, and guide you through the next steps. If your loved one was under hospice care at home, an end-of-life care service, the procedure may be a little different. Instead of calling 911, you should contact the hospice agency that your family has registered with. Hospice staff are specially trained to handle death at home. They will arrive promptly, help with both legal and emotional support, and assist in arranging for the transport of the body if necessary. Do not delay this step, no matter how overwhelmed you feel. Delaying the official confirmation of death can cause unnecessary problems later on, such as delays in issuing the death certificate, which can affect the organization of the funeral handling of insurance and inheritance matters. The death confirmation document is an extremely important legal paper. It is not only proof of your loved one's passing, but also the basis for all subsequent legal processes, such as registering for the official death certificate, contacting funeral homes to arrange for transportation and preservation of the body. Third, contact a reputable funeral home. Immediately after receiving the death confirmation from medical personnel or the hospice care team, the next step you must take is to contact a trusted funeral home. This is a very important step to ensure that the care of the body and the organization of the funeral are carried out properly, respectfully, and according to professional standards. Normally, the funeral home will send a professional team to retrieve the body from the home. They will handle the transportation in a solemn and secure manner, ensuring that the body is moved to a preservation facility as quickly as possible. This transport process must comply with strict sanitary, medical, and legal regulations, so you should never attempt to do it yourself or rely on someone who lacks proper training. After receiving the body, the funeral home will carry out preservation procedures according to standard protocols. Depending on the timing of the funeral, they may recommend preservation methods such as refrigeration or temporary embalming to keep the body in the best possible condition for the farewell ceremony. A reputable funeral home does much more than just preserve the body. They will guide the family through every necessary step, from choosing the type of funeral service, traditional burial or cremation, drafting the obituary, planning the memorial ceremony, to completing all required legal documents like the death certificate and notifying relevant authorities. Fourth, notify close family members. Finally, make sure to inform family members, starting with those who are closest, such as siblings, children, and grandchildren. Choose a way of delivering the news that is gentle, brief, but clear. Be prepared for emotional reactions, like sorrow, shock, or confusion from your loved ones, and do your best to maintain a calm, warm atmosphere. Early notification helps the family proactively arrange their affairs, prepare mentally to participate in the funeral arrangements, and most importantly, allows everyone to come together to share their grief and support one another during this difficult time. After completing the initial steps, it is time for us to move forward with handling the final arrangements in an orderly manner. This is a critical stage to honor the deceased in the most complete and respectful way, while fulfilling all necessary legal obligations. To ensure everything proceeds smoothly, you need to carefully follow the steps outlined below. First, choose the appropriate funeral service. As soon as you begin working with the funeral home, the family should gather together to agree on the form of final arrangements for your beloved one. This is not simply a procedural decision, it is a heartfelt act of love and respect for the deceased. There are two common options that the family must consider carefully. If you choose a traditional burial, the body will be interred at a cemetery. This is a long-term way to preserve the memory of your loved one, providing a place for future generations to visit and remember. Burial ceremonies often carry deep spiritual significance closely tied to religious beliefs and long-standing family traditions. On the other hand, cremation is becoming an increasingly popular choice because of its flexibility and simplicity. After cremation, the ashes can be kept at home, placed in a memorial site, or scattered in nature according to the deceased's wishes. Cremation generally costs less, involves quicker procedures, and suits those who prefer a simple, modest farewell. At this stage, the funeral home will work closely with your family, providing detailed consultations on estimated costs for each option, assisting with legal paperwork such as burial or cremation permits, and helping to select the most suitable location for your family and in accordance with your loved one's wishes. Making a decision should not be based solely on the budget. It must be founded on absolute respect for the final wishes of the deceased. If your loved one had ever expressed their desires either verbally or through a written will, this is the time for the family to fully honor those wishes as a true act of loyalty and love. Second, prepare and sign the necessary legal documents. After agreeing on the form of final arrangements, one of the most important tasks the family must quickly accomplish is to complete all the required legal paperwork. This step is essential to ensure that the funeral procedures comply with regulations and to avoid unwanted issues later on when handling assets and other legal rights. First, you need to obtain a death certificate. This is the official document confirming the passing of your loved one, issued after the verification process by a doctor or medical professional. The death certificate must then be registered with the local administrative office to become a valid document for all subsequent legal transactions. Securing the death certificate as soon as possible will greatly facilitate the organization of the funeral, as well as the processing of insurance claims, banking matters, and inheritance proceedings. Next, when working with the funeral home, you will need to sign a funeral service contract. This contract will clearly detail the services provided by the funeral home, including transportation of the body preservation organization of the funeral ceremony, burial or cremation, and all associated costs. Having a clear contract from the beginning will help the family avoid misunderstandings, unexpected costs, or regrettable oversights during the funeral process. Additionally, depending on the form of final arrangements chosen, you will need to complete either a burial permit or a cremation permit. These permits are mandatory in many states across the United States to ensure that the handling of the body complies with strict medical and legal standards. A reputable funeral home will guide you through completing these procedures thoroughly and efficiently. The earlier you complete these legal documents, the more control your family will have in the following steps. Not only does it help ensure the funeral proceeds smoothly, but it also lays a solid foundation for handling assets, insurance claims, and inheritance matters properly. Furthermore, it helps family members avoid unnecessary legal disputes or complications later on. Third, organize the funeral and memorial service. After completing the necessary paperwork, your family will move into one of the most important phases, planning the detailed farewell ceremony. This is not merely a formality, it is the final opportunity to express deep gratitude, love, and respect for your loved one. With the support of the funeral home, you should determine the specific location for the service. Depending on your family's circumstances and wishes, the ceremony can be held at a professional funeral home, at a church with solemn religious rites, or at the beloved family home where the departed had spent much of their life. An essential element is selecting the date and time of the ceremony. The timing should be carefully considered to fit the schedules of family members, while also respecting any traditional rituals or religious beliefs. The funeral home will assist you in coordinating with all involved parties to ensure every detail is arranged smoothly, avoiding any last-minute rush or confusion. In parallel with preparing the location and timing, you should also draft a eulogy, words filled with love and deep reflection on the life and legacy of your loved one. Additionally, selecting memorial songs, religious ceremonies, or special rituals will help create a warm and meaningful atmosphere, making the ceremony a touching and unforgettable moment. Another equally important task is to officially notify all relatives, friends, and the community about the passing and the details of the memorial service. You can deliver the news by phone calls, invitation, letters, social media announcements, or through obituary services offered by the funeral home. The presence of friends and extended family will bring immense comfort to your family during this time of loss. A properly organized, heartfelt ceremony not only fully honors the life of the departed, but also serves as a powerful source of emotional healing for those left behind. It is a chance for everyone to come together to share the grief, to remember beautiful memories, and to find connection and comfort in the arms of family and friends. Fourth, handle financial matters and related documents after the funeral. Once the farewell ceremony is complete, the family must promptly move on to addressing financial matters and related paperwork. This is an essential step to protect the rights of those who remain and to avoid any potential legal disputes in the future. The first task is to notify financial institutions, such as life insurance companies, banks, credit unions, and retirement funds about the death. Typically, these organizations require a valid copy of the death certificate to close accounts, process insurance benefits, or transfer assets to the rightful heirs. Early notification not only ensures that the assets are properly protected, but also helps prevent financial abuse or fraud. At the same time, if your loved one had prepared a will before their passing, the family should promptly initiate the estate settlement process without delay. A will serves as the legal foundation to determine who inherits the assets and how the estate should be distributed according to the wishes of the deceased. If there is no valid will, the assets will be divided based on the current inheritance laws of the respective state, which often requires the family to work closely with an experienced estate attorney to ensure that the legal rights of all heirs and family members are fully protected and respected throughout the process. In addition to addressing estate matters, it is also essential to settle any outstanding financial obligations with the funeral home cemetery or any other service providers involved after death. This step plays a critical role in concluding the entire post-death process in a transparent, respectful, and dignified manner. Take time to carefully review every invoice and verify that all charges accurately match the initial agreements made at the time of service. Making complete and timely payments will help avoid leaving behind unresolved debts or misunderstandings that could tarnish the family's financial standing or reputation later on. All these tasks must be carried out thoroughly and accurately, not only for financial responsibility, but also to maintain long-term legal stability for the entire family. When all financial and legal matters are properly resolved, your family can focus on healing, emotionally cherishing the beautiful memories of your loved one instead of being burdened by unnecessary worries and conflicts. The loss of a parent is an unavoidable sorrow on the journey of being a child. But instead of panicking and feeling lost when that moment arrives, we can fully prepare ourselves with all our heart and sense of responsibility to send them off in the most complete and loving way. Remember, preparation does not diminish love. It is in fact the deepest and most profound act of love we can offer the departed. Preparing ahead ensures that in the final moments, we have no regrets about things left undone. Before we conclude, I invite you to leave a positive affirmation in the comments below, such as, "I cherish every moment with my loved ones," or any heartfelt message that comes from your soul. And do not forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you can continue joining us in sharing meaningful journeys like this one. Let us build a community filled with love, strength, and fulfillment. Wishing you and your family peace, resilience, and an abundance of love in every journey ahead.